My dear students, in this session, we are starting the second BCom subject QABD2. Already we are very well known about the QABD1. It is a statistical techniques used to take the business decisions. I am once again welcoming you to this session. Now this session we discussing the each and every syllabus topics related to the subject called as QABD2, quantitative analysis for business decisions 2. It is a third semester BCom subject. QABD2. In this session we discussing about the units. In this session we discussing about the units, that is what we call as syllabus, correlation. So in this session discussing about the syllabus, we have 5 units. We have 5 units in this subject QABD2. Among those, the first one is correlation and regression analysis. The first one is correlation and regression analysis. Here we are briefly discussing about in this unit what are the concepts we covering in this unit. Means there is a two most important concept here: correlation and regression. This topic covers the most important aspects and consists of two 14 marks questions, one 6 marks question. This chapter is very important: correlation and regression analysis. Correlation and regression analysis. In this unit, we discussing about correlation and regression. In this unit we discussing about correlation and regression. Here what is meant by correlation? A correlation is nothing but, it is simply tells us it is a relationship between two variables. It is a relationship between two variables. Either it may be a x or it may be a y. So for example, we taken the x and y is the both the variables. Variables is nothing but two data points representing the entire data. For example, population. Population is represented by X. For example, age of the people representing by Y. So like this, we are taking the example of two variables called as X and Y. So the two variables relationship tells us the correlation. So once again, I am repeating you what is meant by correlation is nothing but, correlation is a relationship between two variables, or it is a covariance between one variable. An increase or decrease in one variable is accompanied by an increase or decrease in the other variable, or correlated. Means, for example, you should take the example of price and supply. Price representing the x and supply representing the y. Whereas we are discussing about the price and supply is the both are the variables, we are taken into x and y. So when the price increases, what happening in the supply? When the price increases, supply, when the supply increases, price also increases. When the price decreases, demand also decreases. See what happens here? It is a relationship between the one variable to the another variable. This is what we called as correlation. In this unit, it is very essential to know about the correlation concepts. It covers the meaning and definition of correlation. So according to AM tutor, they given one definition for us. In that definition, he says that correlation is an analysis of the covariance between two or more variable. Two or more variable. See, covariance. Covariance is nothing but it is a cooperatively relationship. It is a relationship between the two variables. For example, supply is increases means what happens? Price also increases. Demand is increases means supply also increases. When demand decreases, supply also decreases. Means one activity is depending upon the another activity. One process is depending upon the another process. So this is what we called as one variable having complete relationship between another variable. For example, demand having the complete relationship between the supply. When demand increases, supply also increases. When demand decreases, supply also decreases. This is the correlation. Here, two most important methods we are using to find out the correlation between the two variables. One method is the Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation. Once again, I am repeating you. Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, and the another formula, another method we are using here, Spearman's rank correlation. Spearman's rank correlation of coefficient. These two we are using here. It is very important methods, and in this method we have the different formulas. For example, Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation method, we have a formula, and Spearman's rank correlation, we have a formula. It is a 14 marks question here. In the method of Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, we getting the 14 marks question, and Spearman's rank correlation, we getting the 6 marks question. Moreover, it is a most important topic here, correlation. After that, the next moving topic or concept here, regression. So here, what is meant by regression? It is most important question arises here. What is meant by regression? Regression is nothing but we are using the one variable to find out the another variable. Simply, I am telling about the regression. Once again, I am repeating regression. What is meant by regression is nothing but it is a statistical technique. It is a statistical technique or tool. With the help of these, we are estimating the unknown value of one variable from the known value of another variable. See where importantly listen. So what they are telling us, one variable we are find outing with the help of another variable. One variable we are find outing with the help of another variable. For example, x they are given x equals 20, but y they are not given. So in this situation, what happening here, y completely depending upon x. When y completely depending upon x, by using the regression equations, by using the regression technique, statistical technique, we find out in the one missing figure or missing variable with the help of the another missing variable. This is what we call as regression analysis. So in this concept, we discussing about the meaning, uses, regression lines, and the regression equation. There is two important equation they given in the regression analysis, and the correlation coefficient with the help of the regression coefficient. Here in this concept also we getting the 14 marks one question. Totally in this unit we getting the two 14 marks questions, one 6 marks question. This is about the unit 1. This is about the Unit 1, correlation and regression analysis. After this, next we are moving on the second unit, time series. The second unit, time series, we are moving on. Here the time series. What is meant by time series? A time series is nothing but it is the most important statistical technique. It is also a statistical technique. Time series is nothing but it is a sequence of data points measured for the purpose of what is the time, what is the statistical time we are using. See, in the time series, it is a consist of data arranged in a chronological order. For example, 10 years data you should take. 10 years data, past 10 years, what is the result of a student? What is the result of a student in a different years? What is the result of the company? So the company result in the 2001 to in the 2001 to 2020, it is a data of 20 years. Past 20 years, what is the process profit position of the company you should take, and after that
Syllabus.
so here time series. Time series, we are when we are time series in this unit, what happens here, a time series is nothing but the different data or the statistical information they given us, and we should put it in a systematic format in a chronological order. What happening in the 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, what is the profit position of the company? So past 10 years, what is the profit position of the company? And after that, the profit position, we are using this technique of the time series. In this time series, we using the method called as least square method. So that is they given in the fifth point, fitting a straight line trend by using the method of least squares and the computation of the trend values sigma x equals 0. So including graphical presentation of the trend values. Here the problems they given the 114 marks problem. So in this unit they given the 114 marks problem. So here time series we using the most important method, you should remember it, least square method. This is the least square method. After that, next we are moving on the third unit. Third unit called as interpolation and extrapolation. This is also a most important unit, and in this unit we getting the 14 marks question. This is also we getting the 14 marks question. What is meant by interpolation and what is meant by extrapolation? Here in this unit we discussing about the meaning, significance, assumptions, method of interpolation, binomial expansion, Newton's advancing differences method, and moreover the problems. Here in the third unit, we discussing about the interpolation. What is meant by interpolation is nothing but it is the estimation of the missing value given in the series. For example, ನೀವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಡೇಟಾನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಒಂದು 5 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2015 ಇಂದ 2020ವರೆಗೂ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 ಡೇಟಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಪೊಲೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, 1 ಇಯರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಅವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, 1 ಇಯರ್ ಡೇಟಾನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. when they are not given in between the missing figure, in between the data ಡೇಟಾ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಪೊಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಡೇಟಾ. ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪೊಲೇಷನ್. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೈನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರಿಪೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಯು, ಇಂಟರ್ಪೊಲೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ it is the estimation of missing value in the given series. ಅದು ಯಾವ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇವನ್ ಓಡ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇವನ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅವನನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪೊಲೇಷನ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ extrapolation. What is meant by extrapolation is nothing but extrapolation means to estimate a value for the future when a given set of values for the known period. It is the estimation of future value. Once again I am repeating you, what is meant by extrapolation is nothing but extrapolation is ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಪೊಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ unit we using the two most important methods, that is what we called as binomial method and the Newton method. Binomial method and the Newton method. In this chapter also we getting the 14 marks questions. Binomial method ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಟೂ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ 14 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಒನ್ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 6 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೂ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 14 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಥರೋ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಯು ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಡೂ ದಿ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ 3 interpolation and extrapolation. After that, next we are moving the fourth one, fourth unit. Fourth unit, sampling and sampling distribution. So sampling and sampling distribution, it is very very essential we should know about how we are collecting the data. ಒಂದು ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಡೇಟಾನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೈ ಡೇಟಾ. ಡೇಟಾ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ನ ಗ್ಯಾದರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಡೇಟಾ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ two methods we are using to collect the data. First one is the census method. In the census method, each and every variables data we are collecting. In the sample method, we are randomly picking the information of some variables. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಡೇಟಾನು ಸಹ ನಾವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ. For the purpose of statistical investigation, we using the census and sample method to collect the data. In this situation, how we are collecting, what is meant by population, how you are measuring those population by the certain parameters, and the sampling distribution, and what is the standard error. These are all things we discussing in the fourth unit. These are all things we are discussing in the fourth unit. That is what we called as sampling and sampling distribution. In this unit, we are getting the optional 114 marks question and importantly 6 marks questions. After that, we moving on next unit called as the fifth unit, theory of probability. Here this is also most interesting sir, unit, most interesting unit, population, sorry, probability, theory of probability is also a most important and interesting unit. In this unit, we discussing about the meaning and importance of probability. Meaning and importance of probability. Second point, experiment, event, types of events, additional theory of the probability. In this unit, we getting the 1 6 marks question. And here, what are the probability? What is meant by probability? Probability is nothing but may or may not occur. Probability is nothing but may or may not be occur. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಟಾಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಲ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಹೆಡ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಟೈಲ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಎಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅಕ್ಕರ್, ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಅಕ್ಕರ್. ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಟಾಸ್ನ ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಟಾಸ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಟಾಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರೂ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ tail. What is the probable outcomes in this situation? How it will be helpful to the business decisions is nothing but ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, when we are using one statistical technique, how much we profit getting, either we getting the profit or we getting the losses. This is what we called as uncertainty. This is what we called as uncertainty. So that purpose, to know the uncertainties, this technique they are using called as a probability technique. For example, tossing the coin, rolling the dice, and touching a live electronic wire. And these are all the examples of the theory of probability. So in this theory, we are discussing about the meanings of experiment, and what is the event, and what is the situation, and what is the simple event, what is the independent event. So event is nothing but one situation, ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇವೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಪಿ ಎಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ಪಿ ಎಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಐ ಪಿ ಎಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೇ ಮೇ ಬಿ ವಿನ್ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಲೂಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಥಿಯರಿ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ. You should remember in the mind, probability is nothing but maybe occurs, may not be occurs. In this unit, we discussing about the meaning and importance of probability, experiment, event and types of event, addition theory of probability. And thank you for listening the most important session